Hey everyone, in this video I will give you 5 tips so that you can become a better Pokeland player. Just a quick disclaimer, these tips are meant to be for the English server, even though they can be applied to many of the other servers, but one of the main reasons why I'm saying this is that the English server has like a big influence of strike cards, it has a big inflation of strike cards. So strike cards can change the meta a little bit and can change the way that people approach the late game. Also, if you are planning to recharge and you want to save money while also supporting me, consider using Aptoid. Using my code DannyV1 on Aptoid, you will get 15% of your recharge back up to 25%. I have a video in the description explaining everything you need to know about Aptoid. Now let's get started with the tips, shall we? Tip number 1, ask before commit. In a way, this should be common sense, but imagine that you hear somebody saying that Xerneas is OP or Keldeo is very good and whatever, and you are going to spend and get yourself Keldeo, and then you just post in a group like, hey, is this Pokemon good? Or imagine that you are even like planning to get a Resonance in the future and you start getting yourself some stickers or something like that. Or maybe there's an item that looks awesome and you like it and for some reason you want to buy it and you just buy it. As I said, ask before commit. This is not me trying to advertise our Discord whatsoever, but we do have a very cool Discord community, especially if you come over here to this Pokeland help channel. And if you are thinking about buying something on your account, if you are thinking about doing something different on your account, ask before you do it, because maybe you can get multiple opinions from other players and maybe you will change your own opinion based on the feedback that you get. I cannot stress out how important this is because Pokeland is a game where your resources matter. If you are spending your resources in a wrong way or in a way that is inefficient, well, you will struggle later in the game. Tip number 2, learning how to select a good Pokemon for your team. Now on this tip, I am not going to talk about the meta, but rather I will talk about something very important when people start playing Pokeland. There's many new players that will just look at the base stats and be like, oh, okay, this Pokemon is good. It has 192 special attack, this guy is a beast. Or even they might look at Overlord Hoopa and be like, dude, this guy is insane, 261 special attack, he's probably being played for all the top players. The answer is no, almost nobody uses Overlord Hoopa. One very popular example is the Shadow Mewtwo itself. You would think that because Shadow Mewtwo has 200 physical attack and Armor Mewtwo has 200 special attack, they would probably deal the same damage or just something like that, but it's not even close. On Pokeland, you only look at these stats for one reason. If you want to play League Conference, that's the only place that the base stats of the Pokemon matters. If you want to play PvP, like anything outside of League Conference, actually any game mode outside of League Conference, PvP, against maps, so PvE, whatever, you never look at the base stats of the Pokemon in the Pokedex, because for example, let's look at this level 1 Meditite. It has like 50k speed because I have a lot of stats on my account, and for example 269 special attack. Now let's look at, for example, Tapu Fini that I got it yesterday. Oh no, what is going on? It's quite different, isn't it? Something wrong is going on over here. Okay, let's jump into a conclusion. If you want to learn the game, if you want to just try and explore the Pokedex on your own, first you have to take in consideration 2 things. One of the things is that you might not have the Overlord Pokedex with you. This will be unlocked like when you are later in the game according to your level. Should be like level 65 or something like that. I don't know the level exactly, but you will be unlocking the Overlord and the Echo Overlord Pokedex, which we call Resonance. Besides that, when you are trying to select the Pokemon, you need to look at 2 important things: the abilities and the skills. I can go back over here to our Shadow Mewtwo X and compare it to the Armor Mewtwo, for example. Now, on the Shadow Mewtwo, I'm going to look at the ability. Okay, we get Rage, we get a little bit of restriction damage, and by the way, restriction damage is the extra damage that you do if you land a super effective move on the enemy. Let's look at the abilities. We don't have anything special, it's everything, it's part of the normal other Pokemons. Like if you look at many of the other Pokemons, everybody has their own ability, so it doesn't have like its own ability of his own. And then let's look at the skills, let's look at the moves. So we have a single target with 80 skill power. It's also important that you look at the skill power, because skill power, it basically scales with the attack of your Pokemon, or the special attack, of course, because we need to take a look at the type of the attack that the Pokemon is using. So we have skill power, which is also a very important number. And as we can see, it's 80, it's 80, it's 70, it's 85. It's a group type, whatever. And as we can see, there's like no extra effects, which is something that is honestly very important in the late game. Like, you want something that deals more damage, you want like crit damage, whatever. But okay, we have this Shadow Mewtwo, let's compare it to the Armor Mewtwo. First of all, we also don't have any special abilities. We can use, for example, Dragon Whisper to increase our special attack. But we start right now with the ability, which is basically in battle, after the beginning, which is on battle start, increases your own 20% special attack and defenses and gets an effect. This overload effect, which is like an aura that this Pokemon gets in battle, increases his own speed by 30%, crit, and crit damage. While he has the Overlord, his skills can hit flying Pokemon, borrowing Pokemon, diving, and inflict one-time restriction. This one-time restriction is basically a late game thing for you to understand, but basically he ignores any resistances that the enemy might have. Any Pokemon in battle recovers extra 10% rage after releasing skills. Okay, let's go to his skill number 1, for example. It's non-type damage. Non-type damage is actually very good because it's basically you don't have resistances on the enemy side, so the enemy cannot protect against non-type damage. Absorbs all the buffs before attacking, so that if the enemy has like any speed, any damage buffs, he will absorb them and then he will use it against them. And if you have the overload effect, the skill power increases by 150% and has 100 skill power. Or for example, we can see this one, the Super Confusion. If it kills a Pokemon, it immediately takes another move. So if you kill a Pokemon, you move again. And this kill also has 50% extra crit and removes the shields, like ignoring and removing shields. Even the ultimate has extra crit, ignores and dispels Guardian Souls, shields and buffs. It's a lot of things going on, and you even get extra special attack and defenses after that. Now, I might have picked an extreme case because Shadow Mewtwo looks awesome, and I know a lot of people love Shadow Mewtwo, but like in this extreme case, I picked the 2 Pokemon with the exact same number. So it's physical attack 200 over here, and then it's special attack 200 over here. And as we can see, this Pokemon, just by the moves themselves, it's much better because it will provide you much more damage, much more in battle speed, and just much more of everything. Now, speaking of selecting your Pokemon, let's go to tip number 3, which is if you want to just start planning to go for Overlords, you should probably go for Latios and Latias. Giving you a quick rundown, Latios and Latias provide huge buff to the allies that they are with in the team. And these buffs, if they are together and still alive, every time they move, they will refresh those buffs. And the best thing is that almost everything is on the passive, which we will talk about on the tip number 5, which is team building. But basically, every time that Latios moves, all your team is unkillable for 1 round, or 1 attack, more precisely. Now, because of this refreshing immortality is why they are good for Monster Riot. If you want to find this video, I have like a video about Monster Riot. You just Google like my name with like DannyV1 Monster Riot and you should be able to find this video. And over here I explain in detail on why they are good, because basically any boss battle like Monster Riot or World Boss, usually they last for around 200 rounds, something like that. Even if you don't watch the full battle, the battle still goes on. And that's the good thing about the Eons. If you have speed enough, like the Latios will move and they will refresh their immortality so the enemy boss cannot kill you. And that's basically exactly what happens over here. All you need on your Pokemon is enough speed, so if you are early in the game and you need to get speed, one of the things that you can do as well to Latios is, well, give it speed boost so that he can move faster enough so that he can refresh his passive and actually make your team unkillable and kill the bosses on Monster Riot. By the way, even if they don't look like they are dealing much damage to you, let's just say that after like some rounds he will do an attack that will actually one-shot you. That's why the immortality is important on Monster Riot. But hey, we were talking about speed, right? Let's go to tip number 4, how to get speed on early game. Now, there are a lot of ways of getting speed and stats in general, but I'm going to talk about some of the best ways that I know, and they are very important in the early game and people just forget about it, okay? First one are gym skills. Over here, you will be powering up this gym across your journey, and you will be defeating multiple gyms, and you will just scale every day. You will just progress a little bit and a little bit on these gyms, and people just power up the gyms just a little bit. But one of the big mistakes over here on the gyms, let's just go and click on enter and click on the gym skills. One of the biggest mistakes that people do is that they just level up the gyms and they call it a day. But every time you reach level 50 on one gym, you can just come over here, and actually I'm going to just select the most drastic one, which is the last one, which will give you the most stats, okay? We will select the gym and we can hit the refine button and look at all of these stats. This is just one gym. I even have this one badly refined. Oh my god, why am I showing this on my main account? But you can see like the first ones were like kind of nice, and these ones are like hard to refine. I have like so much. But dude, at this point, been playing for 4 years, this is like the least important thing for me right now, is to spend like multiple hours refining. But early game, this is super important, because look at the amount of gyms, right? Look at the speed. Like you get a little bit of speed here, you get a little bit of speed there. It adds up. Everything adds up. You need these gyms at level 50, and once they reach level 50, you can come over here, refine, you'll get a lot of stats. One other very important way of getting speed in the early game is getting decent gears. I know right now I'm showing platinum gears, but early game everybody is going to use golden gears. But one of the things that they don't realize is that they can refine the gears. We just click on the gear, right? And we go on accessory upgrade. Actually, it's not accessory upgrade. You guys might have other options, but we go over there to refine. We go and select our gears and stuff. And for example, let's look at this ho-ho boot that I have over here. I have like a little bit of speed close to the max, and I'm going to look at the other stats, right? I'm going to click on these question marks and see what stats I can obtain. And if I want speed, especially on the boots, the boots is the place where you get the most speed from, I want to go through my options and try to get as much speed, and especially speed percentage, as possible. And of course, trying to fortify your gear as higher that you can is also very important. And as usual, I have a video for that. If you just search for Danny V1 fortifying gear, you will find my video. It's 2 years ago, okay, but this is still very valid. It was like a quick video, actually only 5 minutes, so I just compacted that so much. And honestly, even if you search for gear, even if you search for Cinnabar, which is like the upgrade of the platinum gear, I have like multiple videos about gear, which you can just take a look at everything, and maybe you will just understand better and get yourself prepared for the future. Last but not least, one of the best ways of getting in battle speed is also in battle stats. And usually for the in battle stats, we are going for costumes. Take this costume for example, which in battle all allied Pokemon get crit damage and speed increase by 5%, double to steel type Pokemons. This costume is actually awesome. One of the things that I keep saying is that in battle stats, they count much more for like normal stats like these. If they don't say in battle, they suck. They are like much lower. They will provide you a much lower value. Now, I decided to mention costumes because usually you need like costume exchange coupons, and they don't have like a specific event where those can appear. So you would need to just pay attention to the events that show up every week, like Happy Exchange, or maybe other kinds of events that might show up, because maybe one day you will have the opportunity of buying a costume and you don't want to miss out on that. Now let's go to our last tip number 5, how to invest on your Pokemon. For example, this was from my live stream on the day 7 of starting on a fresh new account from 0 as a VIP 0, and as you can see over here, this was my top 3 Pokemon on the day 7. 400k power with the Swampert, the Jirachi, and a Alolan Raichu. But just over here, we can already see a clear difference between the Pokemon's power. We have like a Alolan Raichu with 143,000 and Swampert with only like 108. This is because even over here at the early game, I was already focused focusing on my important Pokemon. I was already focusing mostly on the attacker and mostly on the support that would actually support this attacker. But even late game, I would not invest on the support anymore. Like early game, of course, everything goes a little bit balanced and maybe you just duo your Pokemon all at the same power, but it's never all at the same power. You always go for the most important attacker first. And when I say first, I don't want to say that later you will invest on the support. No, because for example, this is another video that I have. It was a VIP 0 account that was given away, and this is a 12.7 million Resonance Lugia with Overlord Latios. Now, this was a 12 million Lugia that was playing with Overlord Latios on the team, and as you can see, Latios only 3 million and Lugia with the 12 million. This is because late game teams are usually made of 2 support Pokemon and a Pokemon that can actually play with them. And the main logic is, you don't want to spread resources too much. Imagine, like, I usually tell this example to some people, especially on my coachings when I did the coaching sessions. Lately I have not been advertising it as much since I've been quite busy, but usually on my coaching sessions I give this example of the 1 million strike cards. Imagine that you have 1 million strike cards, and I give it to you and I give it to myself. And you grab the 1 million strike cards and put 30% on sword, on shield, and on Melmetal. And I grab that 1 million strike cards and I put them all on Creator Arceus. Usually, and most likely, I will win because I have like most of my power focused on one single Pokemon, which is the attacker, which actually happens to have group moves that will most likely one-shot you. So what I do over here is that I have like 4.5k special attack, 4.5k speed. I don't have defenses because this Pokemon does not need defenses. I have a little bit of HP because, well, it was a hold, like a very old inherit. And then I have 2 random support Pokemon. And as you can see, no strike cards. Nothing over here. Like, this guy is even like level 0, level 14 or something. It does not matter. And you know why it does not matter? Because I am already at the late game. I am not going to invest strike cards on this guy's speed trying to catch up with the main attacker when I can just invest on the main attacker and be stronger than the enemy, attack faster than the enemy, and destroy the enemy before he has a chance to move. Of course, this before he has a chance to move does not apply for every single Pokemon, because this Pokemon, as we mentioned earlier about like reading skills and reading abilities, this Pokemon has like a lot of in-battle stats, in-battle speed, whatever. So this Pokemon is usually either a glass cannon or it's a Pokemon that wants to attack first to kill the enemy. But of course, there are some other Pokemon that are not like that. For example, Flare, and Flare is a Pokemon that is usually a little bit more tanky. It has less speed than the enemy, most likely because also on the skills and on the abilities, whatever, he does not have in-battle speed. And usually when your Pokemons don't have in-battle speed, you don't really want to play it as a glass cannon and most likely as an attacker. But if I bring over here the team that I've been using the Flare, you will see exactly the same pattern. We see an Overlord Zygarde that is over here and an Overlord Ho-Ho. My bad, this is a Resonance Ho-Ho, but what I mean is, just these 2 Pokemon, because of their skills, because of what they provide, with the skills, with the Z skills, whatever, secret techniques, whatever they have. For example, this Overlord Zygarde is over here. Why? Because the Flare Zygarde benefits from having an Overlord Zygarde in the team. Why is Ho-Ho over here? Ho-Ho is over here because he's technically unkillable, and while he is in battle, he can also just deny the enemy's Z skills with his secret technique. So technically, I have 2 Pokemon that are supporting this main Pokemon, and these 2 Pokemon, they don't need resources to be invested so that they can actually be good. And because of that, I have the liberty of just investing all that I want, like fusion, gears, like improving all the gears, everything that I can, especially strike cards. This is why I mentioned at the start of the video about the strike cards on the English version, but especially strike cards, you want to put them all on your main attacker, on your main boy. But by the way, still speaking about strike cards, if you are early game, I would say you can put your side Pokemon at plus 99 on your stats, okay? like plus 99, not more than that. More than that is a waste. And if you ever want defensive strike cards on your Pokemon, you should always go for HP first, because not all Pokemon benefit from having defenses, and having like defenses invested on your Pokemon is usually more of a late game thing, so investing on HP instead is usually better for the tankiness of your Pokemon. If these tips helped you out in any way, please leave a big like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if you want a part 2 of this video, let me know in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Press